All right, folks, back at Yankee Candle Village, South Deerfield, Massachusetts. And you better believe that it is the Christmas season around here. It has come. It is here, whether you like it or not. Halloween's over, which by default makes it Christmas. And I got the shirt to prove it. I double dog, triple dog dare you to make fun of this shirt. I'm gonna be rocking it all day. You better believe it. Just trying to warm up the throat here. Get that coffee in there. Get the words flowing. Now, I was just here a little while ago to do my analysis on the brand new 6 Yankee Candle Christmas scents. There was a lot of mixed reactions to those scents this year. A lot of people didn't really associate some of those scents with the Christmas season. But they've released a brand new collection. It's called the Cookie Swap. If you watched my previous video, you briefly heard me discuss it. So I came here today to pick up those 6 candles. I'm gonna smell them, give you my breakdown, my analysis, my notes. It's subjective, folks. Just want to remind you of what I think of these candles, some of the adjectives that I use when describing these candles. Now, it's important to mention that prior to this moment, prior to this little analysis that I'm going to give on all these candles, I have not read Yankee Candle's notes, nor have I read anybody else's notes or watched anybody else's YouTube videos. I go into these things completely open-minded. I don't want my judgment to be altered by someone else's opinion. It's just my approach. And one other thing, this is big, and I say it all the time, but for you folks who are just joining, I am smelling these candles cold. What do I mean by that? I am just sticking my nose in the jar. I am not burning these. I am not melting these. My analysis is going to be on the aromatics of these candles cold. With that said, though, I have enough experience doing this, trust me, where I can at least give you a pretty good educated guess. I think, personally. So as I smell these, I'll give you my descriptions, but I'll also kind of tell you at the same time how these are going to act once they are lit or once you start melting them. So here we go. First candle. This candle has already sold out at Deerfield, if you can believe it. And they do not expect it back for at least another few days. And that is going to be the highly anticipated crunchy pistachio vanilla. Well, I could see why this sold out. This is the one that, when I heard about it, intrigued me the most, especially since I am absolutely in love with pistachio nuts. But let me smell this. Here we go. I'm excited. Are you excited? I'm very excited. Crunchy pistachio vanilla. Okay, so let's talk about the star of the show, that being pistachio. This is not like a fresh bag of pistachio nuts. This is not you're at the ballpark and you're snacking on pistachios, getting that red dye all over your fingers. This is much more of that pistachio flavoring, pistachio extract. Think of pistachio ice cream, right? A huge, huge dairy component to this candle. We got vanilla in this candle, and I love this. It's coming through in a great way. French vanilla waffle cone. You ever walk by one of those ice cream parlors that are making the waffles fresh and they're just pumping out that smell? Oh yeah. So very creamy, very milky, very ice cream pistachio with that French vanilla cone. Danish butter cookies. I used to have these all the time when I was a kid. My grandmother would always have them. The ones I'm thinking about come in the circular aluminum tin cans. Crispy, crumbly, butter, salty cookies with the huge granulated crystallized sugar chunks on the top. And you know what, there's a little bit of a sprinkle action. Think of those little colorful cylindrical rainbow sprinkles. Crunchy pistachio vanilla. I understand why this one sold out. I will say this candle right here is going to be best utilized in a small space. If you have a really large living room, if you have a really large bedroom, if you have really tall ceilings, you might want to hold off on this one. Save this one for a smaller room, a guest room, a bathroom, a foyer, something that is going to be able to contain the aromatics of this candle a bit more tightly. Because once this has a chance to volatilize and fill your room, a lot of the subtleties, a lot of the nuances in this candle might get lost. I do want to put that out there. But as far as authenticity and just on a scale of fun and unique and new and exciting, it's a great way to start off this little episode here. Yet another melt cup. Why? I don't know. They haven't released iced gingerbread here at South Deerfield yet. So I'm gonna have to utilize this cup. Iced gingerbread. All right, I'm gonna try to do this in an organized fashion here. Let's start with the given, right? Let's talk about the ginger. It's coming through in many different forms, and I like that. I like when that happens. It gives depth. For sure, I am getting ground ginger spice, like right out of the spice cabinet, that same ginger that you put into your pumpkin spice, but I'm also getting the ginger in the very fresh form, like you just sliced some ginger root, or you just grated some ginger root. Some of you might already know, but I'm a huge fan of ginger beer, and the less sweet, the better, right? Ginger beer that's really spicy and powerful, clears the sinuses, clears your throat. And I'm getting that. I'm getting the spicier side of this ginger. Here's the thing. Iced gingerbread. Icing? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. But brown sugar, right? Also, a pretty hefty butter component, which is pretty great. Just like the last candle with the Danish butter cookie, there's going to be an addition of butter, because every cookie's got butter, right? Nearly. A little bit of orange zest. Just a little bit. Orange peel, orange zest, orange essence. I'm getting a little bit of that old-fashioned cocktail. Think of this. Half-baked gingerbread dough. You're in the kitchen, it's Christmas time, you got the family around the table, you're making the gingerbread cookies, you got the cookie cutters out, you put the cookies in the oven, you take them out a little bit prematurely, and you're smelling and eating that half-baked, very soft, very gooey gingerbread cooking dough. I'm getting that. And this is where Yankee Candle went all in here, guys. Are we ready for this? They went all in on the spices. Ooh, man, is that not an exaggeration? I'm getting the star anise, the black peppercorn, the clove, the cardamom. I'm getting cinnamon in a very spicy way. Think of fireball candies or hot tamale candies, a very spicy cinnamon. These exotic spices. And do these spices sound familiar? They should. Masala spice, masala chai, right? If you've ever had a mug of chai tea, these are some of the spices that they include inside of that tea. And there's definitely a chai play, if you will, on this candle. But by and large, the most unique thing about the smell on this candle, rosemary. Rosemary, yes. And if you're not too familiar with rosemary, just think of pine needle. It's in the background. Oh yes, it is. But it's gonna poke its head out a little bit more once you light this candle. And that is in here. There's no question. And I can foresee a lot of people missing that, not even noticing it. But it's there. And that is a very interesting choice by Yankee Candle. I like seeing them push the envelope and take chances like that. Rosemary and iced gingerbread. So the other candle that everyone was super pumped up about, and for good reason, the candy cane meringue. Not meringue, meringue. Now here's the thing, meringue really is not so much an aromatic and flavor experience as it is a textural experience. If you've ever had meringue, of course it's got flavor, of course it's got aroma, but it's really all about the texture. And if you've ever made it before, it's essentially just egg whites and sugar whipped together, whipped together, whipped together. Had to do it in culinary school all the time, and I got the scars on my hands from trying to make those stiff peaks. I have those scars in my hands to prove it. Let's give this one a try, shall we? I'm ready. Wow, this is not as easy to wrap my head around. Very interesting, not what I was anticipating at all, and it excites me. It's really putting my nose to the test right now. I guess the best place to start is with fruit. Citrus, more specifically, predominantly lemon, right? So think of lemon bars, think of lemon loaf, lemon pound cake, any pastry that's going to include that lemon extract, that lemon flavoring. And you know what? The lemon is coming through in a slightly artificial manner. And you know that I kind of like that. You know, what I mean by that is imagine smelling lemon Fruit Loops, right? The lemon flavored Fruit Loop breakfast cereal. It's slightly artificial, but what it does is it adds a big candy side to this candle that you probably wouldn't get otherwise if it was straight up lemon zest. And lemon is a key component sometimes in meringue, isn't it? I forgot to mention that. All right, so peppermint, it is there. But I do want to warn you, this is not big time peppermint. It will, once lit, trust me, once you light this, once you melt this wax, the peppermint's going to fill up the room a bit more than just smelling it cold, but it's still going to be subdued. It's still going to be relatively mild. In fact, I can imagine someone smelling this cold and not even picking up on the peppermint, which is strange because candy cane is right there in the title. There is a vanilla extract element here. And you know what? I want to classify this because it's drawing me in this direction. Think of like vanilla root beer. You ever have like a vanilla root beer or a root beer float with that vanilla ice cream? This is where I'm going to need your feedback. I'm confused. If you own this candle, if this is on your shelf right now, or if you plan on buying this, pick up this candle and smell it. Smell it right there. Smell it right there. I don't care where you smell it. I want you to tell me that this does not smell like Bazooka Joe bubblegum. Little League, in the dugout, unwrap the wax paper, read the comic, you get that rectangular, groovy shaped Bazooka Joe bubblegum. I can't explain why it's there, but it is there. And I challenge anyone to tell me otherwise. Challenge me, guys, challenge me. Because I've had a lot of Bazooka Joe in my time, and I'm smelling Bazooka Joe in there. Very interesting execution by the folks at Yankee Candle here. This was not what I was expecting, and I love surprises. Very cool. What do we got next? What do we got next? Mary Berry LINZER. When I think of Christmas cookies, the LINZER cookie is definitely on top of the list. Do you like LINZER cookies? Have you had LINZER cookies? They're kind of like fingerprint cookies, right? Or thumbprint cookies. That's what my grandmother used to make. Whoa, whoa. All right, so let's start with that fruit again. Massive red fruit action on this candle. Red fruit, strawberry, raspberry, cherry, raspberry preserves, raspberry jam that you baked or you reduced, and it gets really thick, very viscous, very sticky. What were those chocolate covered cherries? The Queen Anne's, the Cellas, the chocolate covered cherries that have that oozy center. Coconut, toasted coconut. You know, coconut can be presented in many different ways. Coconut cream, raw coconut, coconut milk. This is the coconut that you're gonna sprinkle around your coconut lemon cake. They're playing with our minds here. What they've done is they've added pineapple to that. Think of like dehydrated pineapple. and it's creating this pina colada effect. Very interesting, very interesting. I think they're trying to hide that secret from you. Cocoa butter, right? We know cocoa butter. Powdered sugar, right? We got to go powdered sugar, that confectionery powdered sugar that you sprinkle all over the top of your Christmas cookies. Okay, so let's talk about the cookie. Let's talk about the cookie, or the let's talk about the cookie. We got babies, people. And let's talk about the cookie component. A little bit more towards cake than it is cookie. You know the little sponge cakes, the little yellow sponge cakes that you use for strawberry shortcake? The ones that have the little divot in them? Or better yet, devil's food cake, right? Same thing like the meringue. Egg whites, sugar, whipped up, very difficult to make, but it has this very light, fluffy sponge cake aroma to it. This is like a devil foods cake, fruit, whipped cream, coconut salad. And when I say Cool Whip, I mean Cool Whip, which is interesting. Have you ever had light Cool Whip? The lesser calorie, smaller, saturated fat version of Cool Whip? You know, this almost smells kind of like a healthy option here. That's really interesting, but definitely the truth, right? Mary Berry Linzer. Next on the list, sprinkled sugar cookie. Sounds good to me, but how does it smell? That's the question. Let's give this one a shot. If you like Christmas cookie, vanilla cupcake, red velvet cake, snowflake cookie, guess what? You're going to be a fan of sprinkled sugar cookie. This is essentially a play off of all of those other candles that I just mentioned. It's in that genre, it's in that realm. There are some alterations here, but essentially we're dealing with Christmas cookie here with a slightly different approach. Elementary school, child's birthday party, traditional, classic vanilla cupcake with vanilla frosting with the sprinkles. Not the cylindrical rainbow sprinkles, but those wafer sprinkles. Inside that cake, a little bit of that lemon zest or that lemon extract, giving it a little bit of that lemony element. We can even say perhaps cream cheese icing. Big time shortening. Crisco, right? Think of Crisco, which is kind of that butter play that we've seen on some of the previous candles here. Sugar cookie? Yes. Cupcake? I think a bit more. Yeah, cupcake. Sprinkled sugar cookie. Magic cookie bar. What's a magic cookie bar? Should have done my homework. Let's give this one a shot. What this essentially is, what it is to me, is like that kitchen sink cookie, which is kind of a mishmash of tons of ingredients, whatever you got lying around, right? And I almost wish I had this candle during Halloween, and I'll tell you why, because this is reminding me of puppy chow. Do we know what puppy chow is? Not the dog food. Puppy chow is when you have like the Chex Mix that's covered with the milk chocolate, the white chocolate, the candy bar chunks, M&Ms, Reese's Pieces, and then it's all covered with powdered sugar, and you just snack on it out of the bowl. We used to eat this all the time during Halloween in college. And going off that puppy chow and that kitchen sink cookie, what do we call it? We call it, when you have the popcorn and it's covered in sugar, and then it's covered with chocolate, milk chocolate, and then it's covered with white chocolate, and then maybe it's covered with nuts, and it's just this big chunk, this big block of sugar and popcorn. Is that what it's called? Popcorn bark? Because I'm getting that, and I'll tell you why. It's not just all of the added ingredients. I'm actually getting popcorn. And I like that because popcorn is not an obvious one, but popcorn does remind me of Christmas. You know, you get the big tins of the popcorn, because this isn't like popcorn movie theater popcorn. This isn't like popcorn that you get out of the microwavable bag. This is the popcorn that you get in that tin. It's just a small component in the background, but it really does help add to the complexity of this candle. I like that a lot. All right, so we have to start talking about chocolate because chocolate's just coming through in so many ways here. I'm going to start off with a very bold statement, and I think it's very, very accurate. Almond Joy. We know Almond Joys, right? Almond Joy is the candy bar that's got the milk chocolate. Inside, you got that very creamy paste of toasted coconut topped with the raw almond. Because, I'm saying this because I am getting that milk chocolate. I am getting that very rich, sweet, toasted coconut paste. And I'm getting that raw almond. We could even say almond butter. Not peanut butter, almond butter. Have we had almond butter? It's a much different flavor profile. It's much sweeter if you ask me. It's kind of expensive. But if you haven't tried it, try it. And that's definitely what's happening here, is that almond butter nuttiness. There's so many forms of chocolate here. We could say hot fudge. We could say Swiss Miss hot cocoa. We could say baker's chocolate, espresso, fudgy, coffee bean thing happening, which is reminding me of mocha, right? Hazelnut coffee creamer. You know the creamer we dump in our coffees, Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks. There's that very sweet, nutty, dairy-rich coffee creamer smell here. And I just got a few more for you, and hang in tight, because this is a mammoth. This is a mammoth of a candle. Hang in tight. Marshmallow. Marshmallow. Absolutely. If you've seen my episode on marshmallows, and remember I had the fluff, the jar of fluff, that gooey marshmallow concoction. We get a little bit of that. We get a little bit of that raw marshmallow right out of the bag action. But we're also getting, and this is adding to the cookie component to this candle, that honey graham cracker. You see where I'm going here, right? The honey graham cracker, the marshmallow, the chocolate. We're getting s'mores in this candle. Trust me, if there ever was a kitchen sink cookie candle scent, this is the one. I wasn't anticipating this one selling out super quick, but after smelling it, I think this is going to win a lot of people over. I'm just saying. If you're really yearning, to get into that Christmas spirit, and you need these scents to correspond with your passion and undying love for Christmas, you got to come check out these candles. Come, smell, buy the tarts, do whatever you do, but check these out. I am very pleased. Are you pleased? That's what I want to know. So in the comments below, if you bought these, if you purchased these, if you smell these, which one is your favorite? Which one are you most likely to burn during the Christmas season? Or if you've never smelled these, which one, based on my description, speaks to you the most? Leave that in the comments below. That's my question to you. As always, I want to thank you for watching the video. If you've made it this far and you've liked what you've seen, hit like, leave some comments, subscribe if you haven't already. What do you got to lose, right? For me, I'm signing out from South Deerfield, Yankee Candle Village. We'll see you guys real soon.